the Member of Parliament for Saboti Constituency is Caleb Amisi. He's here with us this morning. Good morning, Weshimiwa.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Today I think I've come on time.
You're on
Not
time?
Not like the other time.
And you're in good health?
Yes.
Everything is tip-top?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Good to have you in the room this morning. There are many things going on, and you're one of the most vocal. The interesting thing is that you say it, but you also write it, and you follow it. We're going to go into some of those things this morning.
Yeah.
But Dennis wants to welcome you with today's proverb from Madagascar.
Yes.
And we'd like your interpretation of it.
So, Mahesh, if you didn't know, Madagascar just split from Africa 188 years ago, but also split from India 80 years ago. So that makes it part of Africa more than India.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
But now let's go to the proverb today. Money without origin disappears like water in hand. Money without origin disappears like water in hand. How would you interpret that?
I think it just means the money must have foundation. If it's like easy come, easy go. So if you want money that you can depend on, then it must be built on some foundation. More like the people get money quickly without proper development record, and it disappears as it comes. Yeah. That's how I can
because perhaps our Julie talk up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that. A source that you can depend on.
Yes.
Not just this fleeting stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Many might say that you're that gentleman, but even as we get into the conversation today, and we're looking at shifting grounds, and it seems like a day in politics is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years in politics is like a day. Things can change just like that, and things start to shift and start to move. And so the question then becomes, where does Kenya stand? There's on your X a few days ago, this is what you said. To all those who stop me along the corridors of institutions, airports, malls, supermarkets, along dark alleys and light alleys, from every corner in my daily maneuvers, and every road I walk to cheer me on, telling me we love our work, continue injecting and continue standing up for the common mwananchi, that you love my audacity. Well, I have some good news for you. I promise you, nothing but total renaissance of our country. A generation must stand up and do what needs to be done. If we don't do, no one else will. And then you say, #Ruto must go. It is a national emergency. Kenya needs a renaissance. That is what you said on the 24th of July.
Yes.
Why? What did you mean by that?
I think it is very clear.
Is clear.
What is it, the language, or do I write in Kiswahili and Luya?
You know why I started? you know why I started with 1,000 days?
Yeah.
Is like a day in Kenyan politics, and a day is like 1,000 days, because Caleb Amisi can say this today.
Yeah.
And then it shifts.
No, but I think I've been one of the most principled leaders. Remember, I've been elected in an ODM ticket in an area that is not predominantly ODM. In a very hostile ground. I've delivered twice, basically because when I'm committed to a cause, I'm committed. I do not waver. I do not go against my party ideals. I am those people you can depend on, principled to the core. That one I know myself, and that's why I actually stand as the only elected member of parliament who has never met William Ruto. When everybody was scrambling to meet him, even when he was a deputy president, even during the handshake of Uhuru, I never, all elected leaders had meeting with them in State House, in Karen, in Sugoi. I never met, because when I decided this is my way of doing my politics and I do not agree with you, there is no meeting point. So you do not expect me to be the other politicians who shift from one day that are like this. We are trying to be different, and the new generation must also show. If we behave the same way our older generation have been behaving, then what is the young people coming to learn from us? They look upon us as the young leaders. So we cannot afford to be like the political dinosaurs.
You see, Amisi, as we talk about one thing that has shifted for sure is the party that you belong in, that is ODM. And today you yourself have said these are interesting times where you cannot go anywhere and shout ODM and expect the response. Perhaps the response you'll get is Ruto must go.
Yeah.
With ODM finding itself in these in this position where it is right now, what's the way forward? Are you still in ODM or are you planning to get out?
I am a member of ODM. I'm elected on an ODM ticket for 5 years. My mandate on ODM was for 5 years. Until then, of course, if ODM continues collaborating with William Ruto, then I'll not seek my re-election on that party. Yeah, but if it gets out and, align, retraces back to it, going back to my roots, like Jube once sang, you go back to your roots where you belong, then there we can talk. We can now agree. But you see now, ODM must make a decision now. There's a lot of confusion among the supporters. There are those who do not agree with the broad-based. There are those who say, well, we have been looking for government, and here it is. We've just gotten it on a silver platter. Let's enjoy it. What they're enjoying, I do not know. Because what is there to enjoy in this government? If Kenyans are suffering and you are telling people, let's have it. You saw the likes of Kaluma saying that it is very sweet to eat from a government you've not contributed to. So you are wondering, why is this that is sweet when Kenyans are suffering? What is this that they are eating? Because I thought ODM stands for Kenyans, that if there is something sweet, then Kenyans must be happy. But if Kenyans are crying and one or two leaders from ODM are saying they're enjoying the government, then it means all the journey, the sacrifices, the death of people have imprisoned, fighting for reforms, fighting for good governance, was just to make one or two people billionaires and eat. That is not what the ODM stood for, and that's not why the people supporters of ODM joined the party.
So what are the issues? And I'm not saying, what's your issue with this person. I'm saying, what are the issues? Because when we started to see this gravitation towards the broad, what is today now the broad-based government, you started the chatter, and you did do a couple of warnings to your party leader. And you said very clearly, be careful of what's going on here. Don't be the person that lets Kenyans down. You said a lot of things to this effect over the last 1 year.
Yes.
What are the issues that would make you say that and say, let's not move in that direction?
Yeah, one is because some of us who've joined ODM, we've believed in the ideals of Raila Odinga because he has a history. He has fought for this country. He has been imprisoned, because he stolen money. He was imprisoned because of fighting for good governance, multipartyism, new constitution, devolution. There are things that you can align with his name. On the other hand, the current president, there is nothing. Absolutely. He never fought for new constitution. He never fought for multipartyism. He never fought for devolution. He has never fought for. He did not even participate in anti-colonial struggles. He was not a member of Mau Mau. There is nothing tangible you can align with his name in terms of legacy. For all the many years he has been he has been a member of parliament. There's absolutely nothing you can remember him as a member of parliament. He has been a minister for agriculture. There is nothing, no revolutionary agenda he put in the Minister of Agriculture. He was a minister for education. There is nothing you can align that this was introduced by William Ruto. He has become a deputy president for 10 years. There is nothing. Even Mudi Awori has a history at the Home Affairs. He's tried to reform the prisons, and he was a vice president. So even in your small position, there is nothing you can put to his name. But when you looked at Baba, you could see that he struggled for this, he fought for this, he stood for something. He, when he was a minister for energy, he did the reforms around the bypasses that you see together with Kibaki. There was some economic revamp of the country. He has stood for something, and you know, he is a person who cannot let the country go down. This is a person you can align yourself. So we thought, myself, that these two individuals cannot meet. There's nothing that makes them convergence. There's no point of convergence whatsoever in terms of principles, ideologies. They are totally two different human beings, two different leaders. So for him to come and work with William Ruto, I told him, fine, if it was because you want to calm down the nation, but up to what extent? But when they went ahead and signed something at the KICC, then I thought to myself, Baba is now putting himself in trouble, because people will remember when we were in Uhuru's handshake, we carried all the baggage of Uhuru government. And we never benefited out of that government. My constituency is still crying about roads after having a handshake for almost 4 years.
Thinking that the handshake would lead to
something developmental, because Western has been left behind in terms of development. And when we come to government, we wish that now this is an opportunity for us to leverage and trying to, square in terms of historical injustice that has been meted on our people. But when you are in a handshake kind of arrangement and nothing is going to your region, you come back to Ruto, Raila, broad-based. Nothing is going to Western. The road network is pathetic. School education infrastructure, there is no single university you can be proud of as a region. There are no economic activity whatsoever, not even a single factory for eggs. No, even a single factory, and we are good in chicken rearing. There is no any single factory even for eggs in the entire region that is the second largest community in Kenya. So something needs to be done in terms of economic development, appointment to various parastatals and the regional balancing, and this has to come with political power. So when you are together in a government, you are telling me we are together in the government, we are carrying the baggage of that government, then we must carry it fully.
Did you expect that with the broad-based government, some of the things that you speak of then would have been done? This economic, I'm scared to use the word economic empowerment, because we see something like that supposedly happening in the country at the moment. But did you expect to see some of the things that you complain about now, that there was no development here, road infrastructure? Did you think that, okay, perhaps we're getting into this broad-based government and these will be the proceeds of this agreement?
That's what we expected, because that's why we agreed. We said, fine, let's but now 2 financial years have passed. You remember from what brought the broad-based, the 2024 finance bill. Now we are in a 2025 finance bill. 2 financial year have passed. Nothing, completely nothing. The road networks in Western region, they are never captured in the national plan. They are never captured. Members of parliament, they go to settle, they are just promised, they get given tea, mandazi, and 100,000. That's not development. That is not development. And that is not something that we can be proud of as a generation, that we have leaders who can just go and be lied to. You come back and still clap for the same person.
You see, Caleb, when you talk about development and going to state house to beg for development, one would say, development is the right of every Kenyan. You do not have to beg for it.
Exactly.
And for any member of parliament would know this, because all you need to do is bring a motion and even petitions in the house and demand that right to be done to your people. But then again, as we talk about where ODM finds itself today, would you reckon that ODM has let down Kenyans and its supporters who trusted for it, first of all, to be an opposition that would check the government, that would stand for the people, but today doing the complete opposite?
Absolutely. I can tell you ODM has let down its supporters. It's something you cannot hide up, because why did the people join why do people join parties? Yeah, because they believe in these parties. They are going to solve the problems that grapple with on a daily life. They believe in the ideals and what the party stands for, the manifesto. Because even when you go and register a party at the office of the registrar of political parties, they ask you, what is your manifesto? Those manifestos are never same. They are different. You cannot have a copy-paste manifesto and it's accepted by the registrar. They accept because they are different. Otherwise, the party will not be registered. Now, by the fact that this manifesto, the reason why people joined it, that's the reason why people are now thinking, are we still believing in what we stood for, why we joined the party? Are we still believing in our manifesto? And there are people who have captured the party to their own benefit. There are people who have captured the party, and they'll go on boasting and saying, we are enjoying the government. We're in the government. We are going to support president until forever, for posterity. They're not even saying beyond 2032. They are even saying they'll change the constitution. I mean, we've gone through a lot as a country to come here. For somebody to even try to suggest that we can even change the constitution. Who are you to change the constitution of 55 million Kenya? And what is this that is unique out of you? Just because of your self-aggrandizement, you want to change the constitution for 55 million people? So we look at the utterances of leaders who are aligned to broad-based, who are initially in ODM. We thought they stand for something. Now they've been exposed. Now Kenyans are looking at, even if ODM could have taken power, this is how they could have run the government. We've exposed ourselves as a party. It is not right. And we are saying, Baba, put your house in order. Let those people who have gone to government, let them go. Because people have also left parties.
But
and
he has too.
Yeah?
He has too. He's joined.
No, he doesn't have a position.
He is not. So what are you saying? He signed the broad-based agreement.
Agreement are signed.
Is he not part of the agreement? Or are you saying that he's allowing the party and its generals to do what it wants in terms of joining government, and he's here he's here on this side?
That's what he needs to make it clear. That's what I'm saying. Baba needs to make it clear. The buck stops at him, not at any other person. As we are complaining outside here, but the buck is a party leader of ODM. The buck stops. If the people have all the, they have given him the power. They have all their voting capacity for him to make a decision on behalf of the party. So it has come at that time when Baba needs to crack a whip and say, if I do not shape this party, it will collapse. So this is the time, and it cannot wait any longer, because Kenyans are wondering, if you say you gave experts, what have these experts done differently that we can now say, yes, it is true, ODM experts came and they rescued the economy? You cannot continue with that lie again, because people will ask you questions. What is this unique thing that was done in the Ministry of Energy? What is this? You've heard Mbadi complaining that even the education, he cannot sustain education anymore. So did you go there to complain? Or did you go there because you had some ideas on how to change the economy? So people will ask Mbadi that, what are these expertise that you took to the government that has revolutionized the education system and the treasury and the economy? He'll have to explain 2 years down the line. There are no more time left. Do we have, what are the parameters of even measuring his success? Now you go to all this mining. Are we now exporting minerals? What is Joe doing? Where is he mining? Or where is he? In fact, the question is, where is he in the first place? Is he even around Kenya? Is he around? Where the hell is Joe? You know, people asking these questions. So you cannot keep on lying to Kenyans anymore that we took our experts. So that's why we are saying Baba should disown these experts. And they say they went there because he keep on telling us that these experts you came from Dubai and he found them there already at State House looking for jobs. So he could not, at his age, he cannot go on arguing with them in public. And we believed him. So it is now a time to disown them and say, yes, they are my children, but but they decided to go to a step further, maybe to get some lunch or dinner. But they're still my children.
Remains,
yes.
But even if Baba disowns his children and let them go and fight their own battles, I want to ask you, because when you talk about politics, you're put into office based off your manifesto. You're put into office on what you can deliver and pretty much your popularity. As you speak today in your constituency, just what's the influence that ODM has? Is it the same?
No. It is not the same. Of course, ODM has predominant support. People have been voting for it for many years, for almost 25 years. It is not easy for him to vote otherwise. But why have they been voting for ODM for 25 years? Because Raila was a flag bearer. So if Raila is not a flag bearer, why will an ODM supporter wake up in the morning and go to vote for ODM? What will be voting for? So when you say popularity, it depends. Why have these people been voting for ODM? Because for all 25 years, Raila has been a presidential candidate. And they were voting for Raila Odinga, not ODM. If you remove Raila Odinga from ODM, there's no ODM. People joined Raila. No, they didn't join the party. So by the virtue that Baba is not even sure, we are not sure, Kenyans are asking, is he going to vie as a presidential candidate? He needs to decide now so that people can now restructure, people can now plan their campaign machinery, they can put structures in place to make him a president.
I've seen conversations around that there are plans, I don't know if you've heard about it, to have ODM's Gladys Wanga as President Ruto's running mate. And with that, you've actually had comments on that ODM has fought for long. People have died. People have lost their loved ones fighting for that party and fighting for good governance. What's your position on that?
Yeah, we've also heard about the same. There are so many rumors in politics. But until that one happens, for now, it remains a rumor. But you see, it will be also betraying Kenyans because these people didn't die so that Gladys Wanga becomes a running mate of President Ruto. People were not in prison so that Gladys Wanga becomes a deputy president. People were not have not suffered their livelihood so that Gladys Wanga become a position in the government. That was not what ODM stood for. ODM wanted to capture power as an ODM, not as a deputy. I mean, we've had 5 attempts at the presidency just to come and become a deputy to somebody. Really?
Good question to take a break on. Caleb Amisi is the Member of Parliament for Saboti Constituency. We're having a conversation this morning. Which way will the tides turn? We're going to come back. Maybe should we give you some leakage into that question, Amisi? Yes. And that folks are saying, at some point, just give him a little bit of time. Amisi will also toe the line. And as we continue this conversation, Mheshimiwa, they say that, it just takes a little bit of time, a little bit more cajoling, a little bit more getting you onto the other side for you to see the light.
What is this cajoling that was not done for the last 8 years? I've been a member of parliament, and all these 8 years I've experienced handshakes. The first parliament, the 12th parliament, when I was first elected, there was the famous handshake between Raila and Uhuru. I opposed everything. We were told that there is an agreement that Uhuru will campaign and make Raila the president. I refused to believe because I said first, who has Uhuru made a president before? Number 2, I looked at the BBI and I asked myself, all the content of BBI meant so much for the people of Mountain, where Uhuru comes from. So if this was, nothing was even there for Western and Nyanza. So if this has not been passed by Uhuru, what makes he has other miracles to make somebody a president when he cannot even pass a simple BBI? I had these questions on Kiamba. The Kiamba was the by-election was a heart of Uhuru's presidency, where his blossom friend, the MP who died. And that was a time now to flex muscles and prevent UDA from making inroads into Central. But Kiamba just went like that. So if you cannot even win a member of parliament of Kiamba, single MP, what is this miracles you have to make Raila president? I had the questions, and I asked myself, if you are saying IBC, you are crying IBC must go, that Chebukati and may God rest his soul in peace, that Chebukati and his colleagues colluded to deny Raila presidency. And I asked myself, if that Chebukati team is still there, so who colluded? Was it Ruto or Uhuru? Because we have one of them. There were two together when they were still in our voice. Now we have one of them. So who was in charge? So there were questions and things that were not making sense. And me, I'm a pragmatic politician. I'm not those politicians who just sit down and trying to, say vijana twende, and I follow you. No, I love to reason out. I love to ask questions, and I ask Baba these questions. I say, no, we have the deep state. I say, who's deep state? Because Uhuru Ruto, the way we know Ruto was running the government for the last 5 years, Uhuru was the president. It was Ruto was running the government. So what is this deep state? And what is this thing called deep state that never even helped Moi to retain his regime through Uhuru? What is this deep state? I think this deep state is just a fallacy. It's not there.
It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. If Moi went, Moi had the deepest state, if you can call it deep. How deep Moi's state was, it was the deepest. That was the real deep state, because he had up to all chiefs who were even answerable to Moi himself. But Moi went with his deep state for 24 years. He went. So what is this? And that was a time when we had a Kivuitu not even an IBC that was not reformed. The EC was called ECK or something.
Yes, yeah.
And now we have a more reformed IBC, electronic. We are in a techno-savvy generation. Results are streaming in live, and people can capture and they can post. Myself, I got my results at 8:30 p.m. I was already taking some few glasses of something. Yeah, and people are wondering, why are you celebrating? Because I already have my results from the polling center. People are taking photos and sending me. I just did the calculation. What Raila needed was just 290 of us to give him the results for his presidential candidate. So there was a lot of confusion, a lot of lying, cheating to each other, and I believed, no, there is more. And even again, if Uhuru was to give presidency to Raila, and he's still the chairman of Azimio, and I looked at that and said, this is what is the hell is this? Which kind of presidency is this? Where the former is still holding, and I knew something is not adding up, and I could put 1 + 1 and say this is not true, and I was not shocked when we didn't get it. People were collapsing, but because I asked myself questions, I already know, no, somebody's playing somebody somewhere. Either it is Raila playing Uhuru or something. Now we are here again. It's the same situation. We are now being told, ODM Ruto will vie on ODM as a presidential candidate. That ODM is now going to form government. Really? Is this a kind of an individual ODM will be proud to present as a presidential candidate? And if it is you are proud to present this as a presidential candidate, why didn't you present him when he was still an ODM candidate, an ODM member? You had to chase him away because of corruption. The same person you chased away because of corruption in his docket, you want to bring him back as your presidential candidate. And then you tell us ODM is going to form a government and the Ruto is going to vie on ODM. So we just relax. We are going to form again, another lie.
So let's talk about where you find yourself today as opposition, as ODM. At any given point that we have opposition, we expect the checks and balances are there. With the formation of broad-based government and the ODM being part of these broad-based government, how has that dented your job in the National Assembly as opposition?
Yeah, of course, opposition exists to give alternative governance. In fact, in the previous dispensation, we used to have shadow ministers, so that if Mbadi was saying this, our minister Shadow Minister for Finance could be given a contrary opinion, and then it becomes a debate on the floor of the House. But now, where we are, there's no debate in that parliament. And I tell people who say you are an MP, why you complain on X? I ask myself, do people know how parliament work? You don't just move to parliament, present a bill, and it is passed, and they say Caleb has passed a bill. Parliament, of course, has is also a voting machine of some sort. People have to vote. People have to the ayes have it, and the nays don't have it, and all that. Majority have their way, minority have their say. You can go and say the whole year, but the majority will have their way. So who is the majority? The majority are now the ODM members. Majority are now the UDA members. Can these UDA members vote for something that is not accepted by Ruto? No. Can these ODM members go against Raila? No. So how do you pass these things in parliament then? So even if you are talking in parliament from morning to evening, and in fact, even being given an opportunity to speak, sometimes you can go to that parliament from morning. You are looking at the speaker, amevaa specs, you think he's looking at you. Kumbe is not. Hizo specs anazungusha too much or too ndani, but he's just avoiding you because you know you are troublesome. So you will not even get an opportunity to speak. So Parliament essentially has become a playground for politics. Are we saying that's the case? It's a playground. It's a playground. And you will see, in fact, the time when we wanted to pass this IBC chairman, Ethekon, a very good guy from Stare. I'm also a former student of Stare. I'm proud to be a former student of that school. And I know Stare people are top-notch. Their morals are high. They do not confuse themselves in this moral decadence out here. But I wanted to confirm to the House that this is the best person for IBC. And I went to the speaker, I told him, this guy has been to my, we share the same school, and I know the training of Stare and how people come from Stare, how they are. I want to commit to the nation that for the first time we have somebody I can believe in. And they just had allowed almost 5 people to speak, and the names were passed. I mean, this is a person going to head the Electoral Commission of Kenya that is going to decide 290 members of parliament in new, 47 governors, 47 women rep, 47 senators, a deputy president and a president for the nation for the next 5 years. You want 5 people to contribute to that motion and we pass. Now, what kind of parliament is this? This is we are not passing a headmaster. We are passing a head of an electoral commission. Let's double click plus the commissioner. If we double pass it within 30 minutes. So this is how then a new IBC comes into place. This is the same structure into which the ceiling on borrowing is also raised. This is the same way matters in the country then are dealt with, whether it's education, who you deal with, when somebody comes in and parliamentary committee sits and passes for CSs to then get their jobs. This is the same manner in which the country is run. Exactly. Is it possible for satisfaction to be achieved? No, it is not. And that's why we say, when some of us say we need a renaissance, it's because we've been in this leadership for the short time we've been there. We've noticed that there is something not working for this country. If, you can even have a name to be passed. And you see, for me, they just assumed, if it is Caleb, no. Definitely he wants to oppose. And I was actually going to support because I know this IBC chair is going to be a different one. Now, you see, you lost a moment for Kenyans to believe in this man because of denying people a space to talk. Now, if and this is how a finance bill will pass, this is how a PS will pass. Can we have enough time to people to talk about this gentleman or a lady? Can people share? That's why we just find ourselves passing very funny people in big offices because you do not have enough time to converse around them. And it is inherent upon the young people. I'm really insisting on the young generation because these political dinosaurs that are beyond repair completely. You can't, this is how they have survived. This is what has put them in the office. So you are trying to tell them to do something new? No, they can't. They can only pretend to do, but they can't. Now, the young people are not poisoned. by this political environment. I'm urging this Gen Z, any young people, and you see young people cannot, not decide to be young. You can even be old but young in mind. You know, when we talk about young people, people are just thinking about youth. You can even have an old man, but he also has a mindful, a young thinking mind. What I'm really requesting is that these people should not even go to the street. They should present a one political party. They all go in, they vie for this position so that they get to parliament. They should not go to the streets. In fact, I'm just asking myself, so what if Ruto wins? So will these youth go to the street again to start now being killed? In fact, it will be more lethal because he has nothing to lose. He's serving his second term. Or maybe he'll have to extend the way they say they change the constitution. So what I'm asking them, why can't they? This is a democracy. Why can't they get voters' card, form a political party, or join a political party that is aligned to young people? Get to those offices. If it's an MCS, let them vie for MCS. Let them mobilize each other the way they're mobilizing on the street. Let them identify one person for MCS. They mobilize, he wins. They mobilize, he wins for MP. They mobilize, he wins for women rep. They go to that parliament. They do the right thing in parliament, not on the street. On the street, there will be tear gas, and it will never end. Tear gas are in plenty in this country, and they can use it the whole 5 years. If a president is rogue, in the unfortunate event that the Ruto you are saying go home, get re-elected, you are a man in parliament, you can still impeach him. But this parliament cannot impeach any rogue president. Because they were elected in his party. There are beneficiaries. In fact, some of them were literally picked from somewhere and they given UDA tickets, and because of a wave, they got into leadership.
Is this an admittance that the Parliament of Kenya today, number one, has been captured? Two, that is the source of problems Kenya finds itself in today, and three, that it has let Kenyans down?
It is a wrong thing to say Parliament has been captured. It is never the right term. And I will tell you why. I keep on arguing with people on the street, especially because of ignorance. Show me any parliament in this world that is not aligned to their political party. There isn't. All parliaments are fashioned to be politically aligned, partisan to their regime or opposition. What we need are good members of parliament in that particular political party who can mobilize themselves and tell off their party leader or the president that this is wrong. If UDA members were very audacious, charismatic, progressive group of members of parliament, and when they want to pass a bad name and the president insists that this name must go through, they will walk to the president and say, we are 200 members of parliament here. President, we respect you, but we will not pass this in parliament. President will not do nothing. He will have to accept because there is nothing he can do. He cannot fire them. But if you have members who will just go to the State House and president say something and they say, fine, as the president say, whether it's bad or good, let's go back and implement it. But you cannot say parliament will never be captured, if you have to use that word. Parliament will always be under capture by their political, because this is a political party. It's called parliamentary versus presidential system. It is practiced by political parties. You cannot, even if I become a member, if I become a president today, and God help me to become one so that I save this country, is that my members of parliament, they must be aligned to me so that they pass my bills to enable me do the changes I promised the people.
Which makes sense. However, here what we are saying is that it's almost unimaginable that members of parliament, for example, in the majority that you speak of today, will actually do these jobs of representation, of legislation, of oversight. That it is almost impossible for us to see that because they're, singing. It's just as though you're accompanying what the executive says in this moment.
And that's why the opposition exists.
But does it though?
But does it?
Yeah, this arrangement has stopped. You remember the opposition that used to be there during Kibaki's time, where you could see even Babu Namwamba refusing, to swear.
So it has been captured. That's what we're saying.
Not captured. The opposition, this arrangement of opposition working with the government.
These things, things that you're saying, that, you go to State House, you get a cup of tea and 100,000 shillings.
Yeah, not me.
No. Let's say.
You say you.
Okay. That members of parliament, Caleb Amisi Banan, members of parliament will go to State House, get a cup of tea and 100,000 shillings, come to parliament, pass things. You yourself said that in the gallery, 5 people make a statement and somebody is passed to then be chair of the IEBC along with, 7 other people. You yourself have said that we sit there or the gallery is empty. In a lot of the plenary is empty. In some cases, there are no people there. Or if there are people there, it's a yes, let's go. By your own admission, things that we see, finance bill passed, people just come in and they become yes men. To me, those are the ingredients for capture.
No. You see, Caleb, even as we talk about capture, remember the finance bill 2024, after it was passed, people went back to State House, and after it was dropped by the president, they started clapping again. Is it that a clear
they're not.
Capture?
You see, what Kenyans expect, or maybe the framers or thinkers of parliamentary or constitutional democracy was for 3 arms of government, interdependent, checks and a balance, so that parliament checks on the executive also controls the judiciary. Judiciary is able to also check on the parliament in terms of reversing bad laws that are passed. Parliament checks on judiciary by budget control systems and all that. So the triangle kind of system where we have the 3 arms of government. When people expected then parliament is totally independent from executive. But the interlinkages of executive and the parliament through the same political formation. I wish president was elected differently in a very different political party. And the members of parliament were also elected differently from different political parties. But here we are talking about a joint ticket. President is in one party, members of parliament are in the same party. They have to speak the same language. Because they promise people that we are going to do this. This member must. It happens in the US. The Democrats must do what...
You can speak the same language, but still have clear thinking.
Thank you. Now, how do you get the clear thinking? You must get the right people in that party. That's what I'm saying. The Gen Z with their clear thinking must get to that party. So that they will now oppose the president and say, yes, we respect you as our party leader, but we don't want this.
So you're admitting, without admitting, that the people who are currently there are unable to think clearly.
They are not able to think clearly because they fear. You see, like some of us, me, Caleb Amisi, I stand in a party, PG, I oppose things. Right now, I'm in public opposing things. How many members of ODM can do that? How many? In fact, when I do it, when I go back after this, you'll see even on our WhatsApp groups, they are just abusing me. They're just saying, look, don't respect Baba. Then you look at this thing, this is a grown-up man talking like this. And he's not just a grown-up man with kids. In fact, you'll find people who are older, and their kids are even older than me, abusing me. In fact, I once told one that if you are telling me I'm a young person, I don't know anything, you must. Are you not embarrassed that you are in the same parliament with a young man who is younger than even your last born?
Yeah.
You see, if you are to go there, you'll find the people we serve with as members of parliament, who are called the hardcore, ODM, hardcore, UDA, they have no capacity to reason on behalf of Kenyans. Their way to parliament is just saying, Baba, ODM. That's how they go to parliament.
But in
some of us did not go to parliament by just shouting ODM. We convinced. I've been here before and I've told you where I come from. Members of my tribe are hardly 100. I'm a Maragoli elected by Bukusu, the first one ever. I have no beneficiary of tribe. Neither do I have beneficiary of party. That is not an ODM zone. I convinced people. I used energy to for people, not my tribe, to actually leave their tribe and vote for me. There's some people, they have never stepped in their constituents, but you'll find them on Twitter abusing us. The likes of Kaluma, they don't even know the boundaries of their constituents.
So, Amisi, at what point does this current parliament ever think of delivery for the Mwananchi? Or is it?
Yes. And I add to that. So because especially because you say that, some of these decisions that are made, they're not clear thinking, but there are certain decisions where their thinking is extremely clear about what they need or what they want. Sorry, Dennis.
Yeah. At what point do they think of delivering to the Mwananchi? Or is it just about Baba, Ruto?
There are those who delivers, and there are those who just sing, and you'll see them. They're just to them when they Baba is always right. To them, that is votes. Now and he has been doing that for the last 20 years. What is this guy legacy? He will say that he served as a member of parliament for 20 years, just saying Baba is always right. Left, right. For 20 years, you're just saying Baba is always right. And you've been elected by people. They have faith that you do the right thing for them. Why can't you also say my people are always right? Why? We respect. You see, by not shouting Baba every day, doesn't mean you don't respect. Some of us respect Raila more than those people who shout. When you are with them in tea, taking tea, you'll find these people, they don't even respect that Mzee. We realize some of us respect Raila more than we even talk about it. But these guys are just shouting Baba, Baba, so that they convince people back home that are capable for our next term. So when they see, when we hear them abusing us, don't bother. They're actually campaigning.
In the last few seconds, Amisi, what's the future for the party? Folks are saying it's falling apart. What do you see?
Yeah, if something is not done right now in terms of Baba cracking the whip and saying, look, we are not in the government. We are going to have a presidential candidate who is not William Ruto. This thing of just saying you are going to have a presidential candidate and then people say William Ruto is going to be the flag bearer. No, it must be very clear that this government and the leader of this government, their policies, their manifestos, their ideologies are not in sync with what the party stands for. We are completely worlds apart. He must make it clear. And then you will see now ODM now regrouping. People will come back. People are already all over. You heard people saying nobody wants to vie on the party unless he is a joker.
Yeah.
But a serious candidate who wants to win, he is avoiding the party. Why?
All right. Caleb Amisi is the Member of Parliament for Saboti Constituency, has been here with us this morning. More conversations to come. It'll be interesting to see what the next 1,000 years or one day has in store. Asante.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.